Hi, Leon. Early. Okay, right on time. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Who else is on? Say your hellos as you come in. Say hello. Thank you. Who else is on? Say your hellos as you come in, please, guys, so we know who's here. Hi, Frederick. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Good to see you. In the bush cutting down pretty good. Wow, and you're on right now. That's dedication. See, that's true family right there. Cutting grass, and he's on the live. I love it. Hi, Kevin. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Who else is it? Yeah, I'm really impressed. Cutting grass and on the live at the same time. That's dedication. I love it. Who else is on? Say your hellos as you come in. Tell Ray to fix his face. Ray, fix,
I'm here trying to share the link. That's what I'm trying. I'm trying to share the link so I can get people on.
fix your face, Ray.
You know how it is.
Good to see you too, Kevin. Jason, up night, yes. How are you?
What does it mean? It's an up night.
Don't know, but it sounded good. Hi, Vivian and Gigi's goats galore. Oh, Howard's on too. Hey, hey, everybody! All our old faithfuls are coming in. I love it. Good evening, everybody. So happy to see everybody. I'm trying to remember to phase the music out for you guys. Hopefully, we don't want to forget again and trying to talk over it. Everybody good? Everybody cold? Uh, Good night, Jason. Everybody cold? Or is it just in Highgate that's cold?
No, I like it. It's cool. It's not
Well,
cold.
it's not cold. Cool.
It's cool. Like it's nice and cool.
Icebox in Mississauga. How would you compare Highgate cool to Mississauga cool? I don't know. I think it's pretty even. It's very close.
um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Peter, you know what that means? That means you're overdue for a visit to Jamaica. Minus 30.
Wow.
That's got to be with the wind chill, right? That just can't be minus 30 dry. So
Right. So
it minus 30 is bad. So you don't move. Wow.
that's pretty cold. I'll take my.
Remember, folks, to share the link
Oh,
and
it's cool.
invite anyone that you think is interested in what we're talking about. This is iGo chat. Everything goats,
All things
particularly
cool.
all things goat. We kind of talk mostly about the Jamaica sector, but if there's anything that really affects goats worldwide, we deal with it
Mhm,
periodically.
mhm.
So, share with your friends. Welcome to the people outside of Jamaica through your
Vivian.
favorite word. The people in the diaspora.
Yes.
Yeah, you know,
Nice.
like
Love you.
Vivian and Howard and all
Yeah,
them people, Peter, all them people, we welcome them. Happy to have the family together.
okay, let me know where you come from.
Mhm. Yeah, if you're here and you don't get a shout out, drop your name and where you at. Let's give you a shout out. Because we like to welcome our family to this little iGo chat that we do every Saturday at 7 p.m. Jamaica time.
unless something unforeseen happens.
Yeah, unless other things get in the way that we can't control. Besides that, we'll be here.
Mhm.
Um, so, Trudy, what's going on this week? What we talking about?
Ooh, what are we? Okay, you mean what are we talking about tonight?
Yes.
Okay, so there's our caption. The import update. So you guys probably got the post on when did you post that? Friday.
Hmm.
Friday. Yes.
Yeah.
So anybody who hasn't seen the post, go look at it. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. Did we do a short on YouTube too? Probably. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the goats are here on the farm. Finally, after how long have we been working on this whole process?
Since September
Hmm.
2022.
Yes. Yes. It's been a long but rewarding process. Let's put it that way. Lots to do, and we've talked about it a little bit. And we do promise to do more of a detailed slash in depth step by step process.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, we're gonna do that. We'll probably have to do it in parts because it's going to be a lot. But we definitely want to do that because we want to make sure that everybody realizes it is doable. It can be done. Didn't say it's easy. Didn't say it's cheap, but it's definitely doable. And it would make life easier for everybody else if all of the steps are all pretty much laid out as much as possible. So we're going to try our best to do that for you guys. So, but the goats are here.
Um, no Kiko in the mix this time.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Frederick was asking,
Is any Kiko?
any Kiko in the mix? No, the focus is on
No.
dairy.
Mm-mm.
So that's what it is. Okay, so where do we start?
Hi,
Food.
Anjay. Did I pronounce it right? Anjay, self-made walker. I hope I pronounced it right. Welcome. Thanks for coming in. Need better pics of and videos of them. We're getting there. It's been. I'm gonna be honest, guys. We are tired. Let me just get that off the bat. We are dead tired, but we said we're going to do this, so we're here because it's a lot involved in the process. And you get one thing, big thing done, and now we're like, oh yes, let's relax here at the farm. But like, no, now the work, the true work begins because now we have to monitor them very closely. We are presently for the next at least 14 days or an off-site quarantine facility. So we can't have visitors right now. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, that's the because of space at the government facility, lack of space,
Mhm.
we what they do is split the quarantine time period. So apparently it has to be 30 days. So 14 days at their facility, another 14 days here. That's not 30 days, but they say 30 days.
Mhm.
But we have to treat what where the animals are here as a quarantine facility. So guess who's designated to deal with the animals, and only that designated person. Yeah, me. I have to take care of these goats for the
Mhm.
next 14 days, and only me. I'm
Mhm.
the only one allowed in their pen. I'm the only one allowed to give them any medication except if it's a vet that comes. I'm the only one who can touch them really. So I'm designated. And so far, so good.
Mhm.
You know, the preparation for them was very intense
Mhm.
because once we got the checklist and got last minute information on what's going to happen, then everything changes. Like, oh, we got to do XYZ, we got to do all these things to get to prepare for them to be here on the farm. So the video and pictures I posted, what was once the
Wiener.
Wieners Lounge is now a quarantine facility. So we can't even have goats go on that side. The goats are in the maintenance lounge. When they're going out to pasture and coming back, they cannot go that side. They have to go the other side, take the gate on the other side to get to the maintenance lounge.
Mhm.
And we have to make sure they do not go anywhere near the facility. And yeah, it's pretty intense. So we had to redo the fence because we realized that okay, where we live in, I don't know people in here, anybody else here from St. Mary, this ground move. I'm not joking, not making this thing up. When I was a youth, I always wonder why light posting never stay straight. No, I understand why. This ground moves. Like doesn't matter what you plant, how you plant it. If you ain't concreting it in 2, 3 feet down, it moving. All those posts that we had for the Venus Lounge that was nice and straight and firm, slowly but surely they start leaning. The gate have this big space in it. Then a couple weeks ago, we're looking at the lounge saying, okay, we got to get this lounge ready for these goats. Then we realized one of the gates open. Over there, I'm like, it wasn't open yesterday. Try to close it. The latch doesn't go to the post because the post somehow moved. So then we're like, okay. Then the next day, it was able to close. The post came back. So we're like, no, we can't work with this. So we decided to redo the fencing and do chain link fence for more security, for it to be firmer. Obviously, will last a lot longer. We reused the chain link that was on that fence, which was wooden post with chain link on it. Reused the chain link and just put up this thing. And we did it here. We did it.
Mhm.
Our crew here, we did it ourselves. You know, I went to school for it, YouTube University.
Okay, I'm like school. Okay.
Yeah, went to YouTube University, did then some intense research and figure out how to do it. Went shopping for everything I needed to put that fence up, and it looks amazing if you ask me.
It looks
But
great. It
yeah,
does.
yeah,
It does.
it's good, and our team did a great job.
Mhm.
Cruz
Brown.
Ren Brown,
Mhm.
he's a mason or a concrete guy, cement guy. I don't know if I would regard him as a mason, but he knows how to mix concrete and do the finish work and all that stuff, make it look nice.
Mhm.
So yeah, he helped us out, and it looks good. So yeah, the facility, the Winners Lounge, is now quarantine facility for the next month or so, I guess,
Mhm.
until they give us clearance that all's well. And yeah, there used to be that space above on the deck, the space above the the troughs. Animals in the house were able to push their head through that little space and say hello to their friends below. We had to block all of that off. They can't have no contact whatsoever. So yeah, it was the preparation was intense.
Mhm.
Then the power wash and sanitization. We built new troughs. Everything had to be power washed and sanitized the day before. But yeah, so that was the preparation to have them here, following all the rules, mind you.
Mhm.
So that's what's up. Frederick says it's the worm that's moving
The
the post.
ground.
I don't know what's moving it, man, but something's moving it. Um, so as far as the Bucks go, so our buck facility, where we usually have our bucks that are here, it's always in the north south corner of the house, and they're so they get the direct wind. So what we had to do is plywood off the whole thing away from everybody else. So they're like they have like one side, two side that's windows, like straight windows. They get nice, clean, fresh air. But on the other side, they don't see no animals. They don't touch anything. You can't see them unless you go around and looking. It's completely plywood. That's yeah. It's like what's the 8x4 plywood?
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
that goes, from floor all the way up. That was power wash and sanitized top to bottom too. So they're completely blocked off from everybody. Um, so that's where they are. And yeah, it was a lot of work. And so I had to like redo the divisions. I had to create more divisions to accommodate them. Which is what
Airbnb for goats now.
yeah, we could be Airbnb for gold, so nice it looks. It's like yeah, and so there's $5, right?
Hmm.
$5. So I had to create another partition because we had this bigger space that we put wiener box in before we sell them. So now I had to divide that section out into two to accommodate all these bucks. But so far so good.
Hmm.
We are happy the animals are here. They're, you know, I guess, what do you call it? Climatizing themselves to the environment.
Yes, adjusting.
Adjusting is the right word.
Acclimatize is a good word too, but
Yeah. So
go ahead.
we're keeping a keen eye on them. Well, I have to because it's my responsibility. Not that the team doesn't look and say, "Yo, what's up with that? What's up with that?" But I'm the only one that can really go deal with them. Um, there is gonna be, things that I anticipate will come up, but we have support team. We have all these people that we can call, and the VSD has been really,
Very.
really, really helpful. Um, Speaking of the VSD, I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Jackson.
Hmm.
She held her hands all the way from start to finish. And she's
All
been,
the way through. Hmm.
yeah, she's been amazing, pushing through paperwork, letting us know when there's an error, checking all the paperwork, the paperwork from abroad.
Hmm.
She checked and make sure everything is good, make recommendations. Yeah, she's been very helpful.
Very
Now,
helpful.
Trudy, you want to get into the bumps and the stuff that they don't tell you that there's been two other importation that I know of
Yeah.
before us, and I don't know if they went through the same processes and steps that we went through, but we're all about to tell you what the regular man gotta deal with and what they don't tell you when you're doing this. And I gotta give Trudy props because she was on the front line doing the admin stuff, talking to these people, dealing with these people.
She's not
And
done. She's still working on stuff.
yeah, and she's still working on it,
Mhm.
still working on stuff. But you wanna get into it?
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So, one of the first things I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to what I started with. We want to share this information with you guys just so you realize that it is doable. Okay. Didn't say it's easy, didn't say it's cheap, but it definitely is doable. There's a lot to do, lot to check, a lot of people involved in the process from, even from purchasing your golds to getting them in the US and getting them to the quarantine facility in the US and making sure they meet all the USDA requirements and all the exporting requirements and getting them to the freight forwarder and then the freight forwarder getting them down here. So there's a lot of
What is a
court.
freight forwarder?
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
All right, a freight forwarder. He loves to do this to me. All right, a freight forwarder is a company that actually facilitates the movement of goods from an origin country to a destination country. So they pick up your goods in the country you're buying it from and bring it to you here. Okay,
Okay.
so you have to, and not all freight forwarders are comfortable with animals. So it's a matter of whoever is helping you in the US to find that freight forwarder that's comfortable handling animals and transporting them to get them down here. And then, of course, when they get here, we have to have a customs broker to clear it and then make sure they have all the paperwork and everything for that particular transaction. See, Leon's laughing at us. Anyway, so one of the big things, one of the big hurdles we had to cross is once it physically landed at the airport in Kingston, then we had to move the goods to the quarantine facility. Did we show them a picture of that? I guess we haven't showed that
Yeah,
yet.
we did post them in the
Oh,
crate.
okay,
Yeah.
so that was, you can see we got a nice big flatbed truck. Probably never needed to be that big, but we wanted to make sure we had enough space because we had two A containers, and the A containers is it's shaped like an A because it fits in the plane. Anyway, so we had two A containers that had all the goats in them. So we had to get a flatbed truck and a forklift to load it onto the truck, get it over to the facility, another forklift over there to offload it. And then the quarantine facility themselves, we were not allowed, I think we told you this, we were not allowed, we were only allowed to a certain point. And so the animals were offloaded in the containers, and the quarantine people, what do you want to call them? People that were
The
managing the
handlers, yeah, the caretakers over there.
takers. They were the ones that were responsible for taking the animals to the respective areas. And ahead of time, they knew how many animals were coming, and then how many males versus how many females, and also need to tell them, can the males all stay together or not? Because everybody knows that most males fight, right? So we had to make sure we had enough spots for each male, or figure out which males could coexist. So that's some of the stuff that Dr. Jackson helps you to work out before your animals actually get to the island. What else? Okay, so the night that we were there unloading, one of the discussions we were talking about is what are we going to use for the bedding, because it's a concrete floor. And so we were going to just go with straw, hay slash straw. And then there was a suggestion to use wood chips. So we're kind of going back and forth. Are we using wood chips? Yes, no. Anyway, long story short, we ended up getting the wood chips. The
And the straw.
and the straw, because they had to. The part of the straw was for eating anyway, so the hay for eating. So we were just going to use some for eating and some for the bedding. Anyway, so the very next day, I think it was, we got a call
Hmm.
that they were having issues breathing. We're like, what? What do you mean they're having issues breathing? Anyway, so one of the things you have to have is a vet, a vet that you pay for. Going back to our discussion, what, 2, 3 weeks ago with Dr. Young, duty of care. So no, it's not the Hypro vet or the Nutrimix vet. That's called, no, you have to pay for a vet to be on call for the whole time they're quarantined. And yes, our vet was called many times. We have a nice bill to prove that. But anyway, which and it was a good thing because they were having respiratory issues, so they had to go and administer medication to them. We had to do a process of elimination to figure out what's going on. We talked about shipping fever. That's one thing that we basically figured that they have that. Shipping fever is just, I'm not a vet by any means, but it's basically not the trauma,
The
but
stress.
the stress of traveling and being in the container in a new environment, all that kind of stuff can lead to what they call shipping fever, which is kind of one of those things that you basically just anticipate. You just kind of watch it. But on top of that, what we realized is the wood chips was making it hard for them to breathe. So I got on the phone right away. I said, take out every bit of wood chip, no more wood chips, just straw on the floor. Okay. So the good thing about VSD, as well as having the vet, because VSD, Dr. Jackson, she's the first one that calls, say, hey, we're having this issue. So she doesn't wait till it goes out of control. if she sees something, immediately she's getting on the phone and calling and say, "Hey, this is going on with this goat, or this is going on with this goat." Because we had like groups of goat, like 8 or 10 goats at a time that were having heavy breathing. So she was like, "Here's what's happening, and here's what we're doing to help them." So that was probably the very first bump once they got
Yeah,
here.
that was the first real bumps when the goats got here. Um, and the issue is the facility is was built for
Horse.
horses.
Mhm.
So it's like a concrete room with those barn doors that are half with half of it open so the horse can put his stick his head out, whatever. And so the windows are these small louver windows, about a foot wide,
Mhm.
some of them, and they're
Oh, we lost your audio.
eh,
Oh no, you're
hello?
back. You're back. You're back. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So
Hmm.
it's concrete louver windows, and the air comes in right off the ocean because the quarantine facility is right on the ocean, and the wind is coming off the ocean. It comes in, but there's nowhere for it to go. So it just stir up whatever dust is in there,
And
and
then they're
these
low, right? The
and they're
goats
low down on the ground.
here.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it created a breathing problem for these animals, and it was scary because the videos that they sent, goats had their mouths open, panting like
Mhm.
it was scary to see. Like, oh, this is not good. But Judy was like, yo, get it out of there. All not even I don't even want that wood dust on the floor.
Wow.
Yeah. So okay, so that was one. That was the first thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, so I would say all in all in that quarantine facility is just almost like every other day or every day you'd find out, okay, well, this particular animal, oh, fever. A lot of them had high fevers too, that
Mhm.
they were able to administer medicine to bring them down. What are the challenges? That was a main breathing and fever
Breathing and fever.
were the main two challenges. We had one of them that his head got busted up, a buck. And so they sprayed him down. What's the silver spray called again? I keep forgetting what
The
it's called.
ectoline spray.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah. So this, and
Mhm.
by the time he came to us, he was perfectly fine. So all that to say, they stay on top of things. They don't just, and we had to bring everything. So we talked about that. We had to bring the hay. We had to bring the bedding. We had to bring the grain. The only thing we didn't have to bring was water, but we did have to bring all the containers for the
Yeah, we
feed.
had to bring we had to
For
bring
water,
feeding container, water container.
everything we had to bring.
Hmm.
We also had the anti-stress that we had them put in the water. So, and they follow the instructions. You tell them exactly what you want to feed each animal, how much, and what time, and they'll follow those instructions. So, all in all, other than the respiratory issues and the shipping fever, I think that was anything
Health
else.
wise and as the animals pertaining to the animals, that was about it.
Yeah.
We're concerns about their health, and you don't want to bring the animals that far to lose them or lose any animal at that stage. So it was very concerning for us to
Mhm.
be like, okay, like we got to be on top of this. So hence why they say you got to have a vet on call, and the vet was there quite a bit
Quite a bit. Hmm.
because the bill we got.
Yeah, even at night, he
So
was calling me at 10 o'clock at night. He's like, "Okay, I'm heading over there now to do XYZ." So you
yeah,
have to have
they
somebody
all
to do
they
that.
all got a Rona antibiotics. They all got stress anti-stress. They all got Selmanax in their water. It was just ongoing, the things that had to be given to the supplements and inputs for to get them comfortable for the 2 weeks that they were there.
Because
Uh,
the scare was we didn't want them. The longer they showed signs of distress and not doing
the
well,
longer they have to stay there.
stay there longer. And we're like, no, no, we don't want them there any longer.
Yeah. So here's the catch
Mhm.
that every all the things that came up health wise was owing to the facility itself.
It was a combination.
Because, yeah, because the facility wasn't built for
Goats.
goats. So the breeding thing was an issue because of the way the facility is.
Mhm.
So how do you combat that? You know what I mean? I think moving forward, they got to think about a different facility for goats.
Or adjusting that one.
You
Making
know, tear down the walls.
No, maybe the bottom half of the barn door could have slots in it, so there's ventilation. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you have a point,
Because
but
if
it's definitely not conducive for goats.
yeah,
It is, you know,
it
it's
worked
for
out,
goats.
but
It
it was
worked, but
we were on pins and needles for 14 days.
yeah.
We were very concerned, but
Okay, and what else? What else was surprising or like, oh, we got to deal with this?
are you talking about the big G?
Hmm?
Are you talking? Wait, give me a.
We're talking about cost or regulations or
Oh,
whatever.
you really want to go
Oh
there?
yeah, I want to go there. I want people to get the full scope
Mhm.
of what it takes to do this.
Okay, so the cost. All right, so I'm not even going to talk about the cost to get it to Jamaica. I'm just going to talk about the costs incurred while we're in Jamaica. So, yes, there's a nice laundry list of charges that you have to end up paying. For those of you who are familiar with shipping, you guys probably are familiar, like, of course, the destination terminal charge for the airline, we had to pay that. Um, we actually got a customs clearance letter which allowed us to clear the goods before actually presenting an actual entry, which was good because we were able to move the animals a lot quicker, right? So that we were able to get that. And so that was another cost. Of course, the transportation cost to get it over to the quarantine, as well as the forklift at the quarantine facility, that was another cost. As it relates to the entry, so it gave us a little bit of window of a time, like a couple of days. I think they came in on Thursday. I think we had to close out the entry like by the following Wednesday. So we did the entry. Then we got the nice little statement to say what we owed for the import of the product. And it was very shocking because number one, it's duty free, right? So remember we said breeding goats is duty free. Here's a classification we talked about. So we're like, okay, so GCT is typically what, 15%. So we're calculating that against value. Well, the GCT rate that they charge was 20%, number one. And number two is it's charged on the value of the goats. Plus, if there was duties, then the duty would be added to that too. So luckily, it was duty free, as well as the freight cost to get it here, as well as the insurance. So all of that. Oh, and then there's also an environmental levy fee and a customs administration fee. So all of that is lumped together, and the GTC is calculated against that money. So needless to say, it was a nice big fat bill.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys. I see I see posts on these Facebook groups. One in particular I saw last week or a couple weeks ago where a gentleman says, why access to imported animals and whatever genetics, only big farmers and money or whatever can have access to it. I'll tell you straight, sir, go do it. You want to know why?
Yes,
It's
everybody.
because it's the people them who have the money for spend can afford to do it. The people them will stay a 5-star hotel, them can afford to stay a 5-star hotel. The people them who can afford to bring goats in because I will be straight and be honest with you. We found out it ain't cheap by no means.
Mm-mm.
And it's not just buying the goats and shipping the goats, it's when you get the goats here, the cost that are involved in getting the goats from the airport to your farm or to your yard, however, there is just
It keeps
cost
mounting.
on top of cost on top
Love
of
it.
cost.
Yeah. It's not pretty. It's not
It
pretty.
is not
It's not
pretty.
pretty at all.
You know what I
Pretty.
mean? And we we as in Trudy work that phone till it hot, trying to figure out how do we navigate this and don't let the goat them stay an extra day. Because what you don't realize is there is a fee per head per day every day that they're in that quarantine facility. So if they stay an extra day, that is an extra cost.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's not just we buy some goat and we ship them down and them stay over there so for 14 days. No, there is a whole lot of extra cost that goes into getting them from the airport in Jamaica to the farm. I got to give a shout out to our custom broker, which is, longtime friend of ours from school days. And he pulled out all the stops to make sure that this went smoothly. And how comes my audio keep going?
You're good now.
Okay. So yeah, I gotta big up Go Max Custom Brokers, Leon Smith. He pulled out all the stops, make all the calls he could make, um, to make things went as smooth as they could possibly go.
Hmm.
And we got to give him tons and tons of thanks and show gratitude
Yes.
because
That was
he was on it. You know what I
awesome.
mean? And he makes some big calls
He
to
did.
get things moving the day the goats arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, he did. He sure did.
he made some big calls. Leon is saying he is not getting any audio. Is everybody else getting audio? So we could
He's
tell
hearing.
him that maybe it's him.
He
If
just
we,
said,
if you can hear us, guys, give us a thumbs up.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Maybe you. Can you go out and come back in?
Who?
Leon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Leon, I think maybe it's your connection, Coyote Bush.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe Leon, maybe it's you because you're out cutting grass. Tell him, text him and tell him, Julie.
I message him now.
Message him. Yeah. Yeah. So, folks, I'm telling you,
Please do it.
please
Please.
go ahead, do it. Go ahead, gather your group, gather your people. If you can't afford to do it by yourself, and I'm telling people to do it because you will find out for yourself. You will find out for yourself that it is not an easy road. You know what I mean? It is not an easy road. For us, we feel a sense of real accomplishment
Yeah.
on this one. And when I did that post about a new beginning, it's truly a new beginning for us because this is like starting from scratch. What we had to go through, what we had to do, all the work that was done in the US, finding animals, actually, first finding somebody that we know can handle the requirements for the USDA and Jamaica, somebody who has the know how to gather these animals, know the rules and regulations, and then to execute it, to go through it step by step within what we're looking for, getting videos and pictures of animals, making sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed. He knows how to get the animals all the way to the plane without any issues. And we're talking about live animals. So to be honest, we actually one of our bucks didn't make it because he ended up with a sickness, and they're like, no, him can't go. He ain't making it.
Mm-hmm.
So you pay for the animal,
Poor kid.
Animal left people the owner's farm. Animal is in quarantine facility for 30 days over there. And then the last couple weeks, the animal come down sick. And he's by himself in a thing by himself. He come down sick, didn't make the trip,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, go ahead. Don't let that stop you. But all I'm saying is watch what you say on social media and whatever, because sometimes
Hmm.
the reasons things are the way they are is because the cost involved and the work involved.
Over.
Like, trust me, the work involved is ridiculous. It's still going.
Still
It is still going. It is not an easy road.
going. Hmm.
You know what I mean?
But they said anything worth doing is going to be a difficult road. If it's that easy to do
Yeah.
it, then.
Yeah. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it.
Hmm.
You know? And from them open up things and say, yo, yeah, man, you can apply and get approval or whatever. It's about a year now since
Hmm.
they streamlined the application process, and there's only
Three shipments. I thought
three
there were more.
shipments.
I was honestly surprised, guys, when I heard that we were the third shipment. I'm like, what? I thought other people had done it. Nobody else has done it yet. Nobody.
Nobody else.
That tells you a lot. It
Yeah.
tells you.
And this is not a makeup story because the man the facility tell we.
Hmm.
The man the facility will take care of the animals tell us that, yo, no, this is the third one.
And the first one was a government one, right?
First
Well,
one was case.
so that's
Mm.
they. I'm sure their scenario was a little bit simpler than ours, probably, and
So
definitely
Merlin wants to know why it's so difficult. Does it need to be
doesn't
so
need to
difficult?
be this difficult.
Well, I have my own opinion on that. I'll give my opinion. One, when it comes to the biosecurity of the country,
Mhm.
I understand.
Absolutely.
I fully understand why all these I's and these T's got to make sure they're taken care of. The the admin side of it, where things could be a little more streamlined, I just think it's because of lack of resources.
Mhm.
You know, it's just lack of resources. As a country that's not wealthy, certain things can be as streamlined because that takes money. You know, to have a facility like the facility they were at in Miami, to have something like that's going to take some money. You know, to have um, all the water troughs and feeding troughs and all them things in the facility will take some money. So I understand all that. Now, on the government side, the customs and all them things, I just think that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And Jamaica is
You
not
know,
the only country like this.
yeah,
Jamaica is not the only country that imposes a lot of duties and taxes on everything, high duties and taxes and stuff. So let's not beat Jamaica up. There are
yeah.
other
Well,
countries that have
you
things.
know, I think the wealthy countries are the countries that are more developed.
Mhm.
They don't really put, they don't put duty on, or they
Freight.
don't accumulate the insurance and all that. They don't put duty on insurance and all that
Right.
stuff, right?
Mhm.
But the smaller countries, yo, if you can afford to bring in a car, brethren, you pay for the insurance, you pay for the this, you pay for the that, and the same goes for goats.
Yeah.
You
And
need to
and
make it.
talking about the freight and assurance that duty and the GCT's paid on that as well. So somebody, I'm sure somebody is thinking, well, just leave it off of the invoice, then they won't charge you on it. So I'm here to tell you that if your invoice comes in and it doesn't have freight and insurance, they have a calculation in their entry system that once you put the value in it, it has a formula in the back end that's going to calculate an amount for freight and it's going to calculate an amount for insurance. So there's no getting around
There you go.
it.
There you go.
Mhm.
Um, what is this?
I don't know. I
Is Dr. Young here?
haven't seen it.
I didn't see Dr. Young, so who's he talking to?
He's, he and Dr. M must be having a separate conversation. I haven't seen her yet.
Oh, I haven't seen her.
Yes, they do. Um, okay, so let's see what other bumps. So before we can, am I forgetting anything else right now? Okay, so before we can pick up the animals, we have to pay. Remember, Ray talked about the fact that it's $500. Well, it depends on your animal count. So the rate might vary because it's per animal per head per day. So the time came, we didn't know till the very very last minute, till the evening before, that we are going to able to actually get them the next day. So it's a constant calling. Can we get them? Can we not? What's going on? It's like, VSD's like, well, I have to check this and I have to get this done and I have to. So it was really at the last minute. We knew that the very next day we could pick them up.
Yeah, the
And
animals picked up Thursday evening. It was Wednesday evening,
yeah,
almost end of workday before we knew that
that they were going to be let
they're
go.
gonna be released.
Yeah. And so the thing is, then we had to pay the government, we had to pay for the quarantine stay. And I'm like, okay, hello, 21st century. We just went through COVID. Everything's online. Can I pay online? No. What do you mean, no? Can I do a credit card? Can I do a credit card online? No. Bank account online? So, no, we had to physically go.
We had to drive up there.
And I had a class till 2 o'clock. So we had to, we just head out of there right at 2 o'clock. And we didn't make it though. I'm surprised we did it, but we made it probably about 3:45 to get
It's
in
your
there.
driver, man. Your driver was good.
The drive was good. All right. Had
Yep.
a good drive up.
Yep.
So we made it at 3:45, right under the wire, to go in and pay for everything. Because if we didn't make it, we'd have to pay for yet another day.
Yeah.
So that was surprising to me that you cannot pay it online. I'm like, how can you not pay it online? I mean, we just went through COVID. Everything is done online. I don't understand why you can't pay the government online, but you can. So anyway, but we didn't make it for that.
Yeah. And I think I don't think you mentioned is you briefly mentioned it, is the equipment needed to do the transfers. The flatbed truck, flatbed, because for us, the number of animals we needed, they were in two crates.
Hmm.
Each crate takes about 25 animals.
Yeah.
So if you go over 25 animals, you need a second crate. Depends on the size of the animals. We had two crates.
Uh,
So then we had to, and these crates are massive.
Looks like a nice little house.
Yeah, these crates are massive. And David, I don't know if it's David, the guy in the US, or it's the freight forwarder guy who did the two-decker crate for us, that
Hmm.
built it. Because we had one crate that belonged to the airline. And then they built a wooden crate similar to the exact crate that the airline uses, but they put two levels in there. So we could have goats at
And
the top
separate the
and
books. And
two,
it was
yeah.
made to separate the books, so the books
Yeah.
wouldn't have. Mhm.
So we had to get a flatbed truck that could take these two massive crates. And I don't think we even know the bill for that yet.
No, we don't have that bill yet.
We don't have that bill yet. And you
It was
guys saw the video. It's this massive flatbed truck and a forklift by the airport to load them, and then a forklift by the facility, quarantine facility, to unload them, and then to get them to the farm, we have to secure a big enough truck to take them all, a truck that is good for livestock,
Mhm.
and that truck has to be power washed and sanitized. Oh, not to mention the equipment that does the transfers had to be power washed and sanitized too.
Mhm.
And all that is a cost and to be coordinated. Give thanks for a custom broker
Yeah, he was.
who coordinated all of that for us. But we had to find a truck to take them from the quarantine facility to the farm. And we didn't know they were being released until Wednesday, end
Yeah.
of day Wednesday. So we had to, a good thing we had the truck on hold, but the truck guy Thursday evening is one of his busiest days
Mhm.
based on his job. So he's like, "Oh, this is going to be bad because Thursday evening is his thing." Only to find out that at midnight Thursday night is when he actually
Start to
start
get.
working for Friday. Like he's a butcher. He's a butcher. And when we're at the quarantine facility, I see him getting antsy, like, we gotta get out of here. We gotta pack. I'm like, dude, like, we're trying, we're trying. And he's like, man, I gotta start butchering at midnight.
You're like,
This
what?
is this is at 9 o'clock at night.
What
I
are
was
you didn't
like,
tell us
you
that?
didn't tell us that.
Mhm.
Yeah. But he did us a solid. He did what he gotta do. He got the animals here safe. And we're forever grateful. So what else, babes? What else?
Um, Well, talking about loading them once they were ready to go. Oh, before that. So the other thing is the time that you're going to get the animals. So we were between either first thing in the morning, meaning 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, or in
Mhm.
the evening, because you want it to be cool enough for the animals to be transported. So we ended up doing the evening run because that gave us time to go ahead and pay for the VSD office and then get over there. So we started loading about 7:30 that night.
Yeah. Hmm.
About 7:30, and it took a while. It took a while to load.
Because they didn't allow us to go help. We had to
It was
stand
just, it
outside.
was just like really two guys on Dr. Jackson. Well, she's not really doing much. She's just kind of guiding them. So it's really two guys trying to usher all these goats, to the ramp to the truck. So it took a while to get loaded. And then the other thing is everything that we brought, whatever that was left over, they gave it back to us. So we were loading up hay, we were loading up grain, we were loading up well, we have to go back for some of our containers. But the good thing is, and we all our hay bags too. But
Hmm.
anything that whatever you take, if it's not used, they give it right back to you. So we were at first we were like a little bit, are we gonna get these back? And she's Dr. Jack's like, yeah, you're gonna get them. And we're like, okay, we'll see. Yes, we did get everything back.
Yeah, we got everything back. All in all, I mean, they were great. They
Mhm,
were great to deal with. They were very accommodating. They
mhm,
were, very helpful. Information was flowing.
mhm,
There was no surprises on, we showing up or we getting a call that, oh, XYZ happened. We were giving heads up that of any situation that was developing over there. Um, what else we weren't expecting?
Um,
I think that's about it.
that's the yeah, for the most part was this past Thursday, all
Yeah,
the happenings of this past Thursday. Yeah.
yeah. So on the side of costs
Oh, oh, oh,
and
oh. I remember something. Sorry.
what?
Stick a pin. So the VSD has to come to your location ahead of time
Oh,
to ensure that your facility can facilitate the animals that you're going to get. And we I went ahead to push for that sooner than later because I didn't want them coming at the last minute going, they did give us some parameters, don't get me wrong, but I wanted them to come and check before the animals came. So they actually came on Tuesday. And my guy said, oh, I was going to come on Thursday. I'm like, oh, no, you weren't. Because I'm not dealing with that craziness on Thursday. You coming early. So we can fix whatever we need to fix before they got here. So yeah, he was very accommodating. He came and he looked around and he gave maybe one or two suggestions.
yeah.
He told us to
Now
block
he's
that.
the one who told us we have to block off the space that's above the trough in the lounge because the animals upstairs could push their head through. Um, so yeah, he's one who told us we had to do that. So it's a good thing you push for him to come a couple days before, so we can know exactly what they're looking for,
Yeah.
and then he can do pop-ins whenever, right?
The next 2 weeks he can pop in anytime,
Yeah,
just to make sure that everything is in check. Right. Oh, we got a 3-page quarantine report. Is it not a report? A report
guideline.
with instructions,
Hmm.
including they go as far as, even telling you, of course, the animals have to stay at your property. They can't be sold. They can't, anything. You can't do anything at all to them. As well as, even if, let's say, the one, God forbid, gets sick and even dies, you need to call them and they have to come. Or if they, let me rephrase it. I don't know, but you have to notify them that this particular animal is sick and it died. Also going to try to figure out what's the cause of the death, because is it something that's contagious that could, wipe out a herd or wipe out animals in Jamaica? They have to come and figure out what the cause of death is before you actually, and then they'll tell you, advise the best way to take care of the
Dispose of
animal,
it.
dispose of the animal. It might be burning it, or do you just, can we just bury it? But everything, you have to tell them exactly what's going on, and no animals can leave that location.
Tell Peter, I read it. I read it back to back.
I
Please,
read it.
I read it because
Oh,
I'm the
okay.
one who has to deal with them.
Mhm. He
So I
did.
read the
He
whole
read
thing. I'm trying to see if it's over there on this on that table.
it.
Yeah,
Uh,
because there's a lot of instructions for the person who's dealing with the animals. So yeah, I read it, Peter. um, so yeah, I think so far that's it. It's been quite a journey.
mhm.
It's
A
been an
rewarding.
experience.
Should we tell them what our driver, how our driver laughed at us?
Yeah. See, okay, well, hold on, hold on. Oh, Dr. Young wants to know how long you have to inform VSD. I think it's 6 months.
Well, Um, initially for the quarantine period is 14 days. I don't know of any instructions after I think after that 14-day period, they'll let us know anything from that. But I think, I know for right now, this 14-day window, if anything happens, we have to say something. I'm not sure what happens after that. I'll have to double check that, Dr. Young, if it goes beyond that 40-day.
Is there a specific reason you quarantine them in the lounge as against in the house? Yes, there is a reason. The number of animals um, dictates the space that we use for the quarantine. Currently, the house is filled with kids and mothers and milky mothers. If we're gonna quarantine them in the house, all them animals will have to leave the house for us to quarantine them in the house. And we're not comfortable putting these young kids outside. So the what we have learned is that the outside facility is the best
Mhm.
because it's away from all the other animals. You can control the flow of traffic, you can control everything based on where the winner's lounge is.
Mhm.
So it works out way better. In other instances, big old house had to be cleared for this a few animals because no other animals was allowed to be in the housing, right?
Yeah, or
Yeah,
in close proximity. Yeah.
in close proximity. So that's the reason, and it works so well. It's the guy gave just two thumbs up. You know, um, Dr. Young said 14 days at your facility. Yes, yes, we are officially a
Quarantine
quarantine
depot.
depot. That's why the paperwork said quarantine depot for 14 days. We are. Any other questions? Since the questions are flying, let's take some questions. Let Trudy answer all the questions because she's the import guru.
Has nothing to do with this. It has to do with goats. It has nothing to do with
Yeah,
him.
the goats I'm talking about. You know this inside out right now.
Well, you do too. I mean,
Yeah, but you were more intimate on the handling and the communicating with people. You know
yes.
what I mean? I'll just review what you said. Yo, this is going on. What you think? And then I'll give you my 2 cents, or I'll object to something, or I'll pick up the
It's
phone,
usually object. Are
or
you
I'll
one of
pick up the phone and call somebody and say, "Yo, what's up?" Yeah.
us?
Um. And there's another aspect to this that I want to really want to touch on lightly is if you're gonna apply to import animals, there's certain things, certain concessions that you can get, and you
Mhm.
should deal with them way in
In
advance.
advance, way in advance.
Deal with them the minute you get the approval to import the animals.
Yep.
Start dealing with whatever concession applies. Start dealing with it right then and there
Mhm.
at that moment, because it could be very helpful. Because we have learned that the Ministry of Agriculture is trying to come up with some form of across the board concession for imported animals. It is not through the pipeline yet, but they're working on it. However, in the interim, if you apply and send a letter to the powers that be, they will consider waiving,
With
like,
emphasis on consider.
yeah, emphasis on consider
Mhm.
waiving, like GCT, or
It-
giving you a
Actually,
lower,
because some people call it a waiver, but it's
mhm,
probably more of a discount.
yeah, a discount on your GCT
Mhm.
charges, and make sure that your animals are coming in for as breeding animals, so there's no duty on the animal, the cost of the animals themselves. And truly, correct me if I'm wrong, they would do the same for that, where the freight and CIF insurance and all that stuff will be attached to it. So that
Mhm.
means your actual duty would be ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And do the GCT include duty? No.
No, GCT's taxes,
Okay.
and so they charge taxes on the duties.
Yeah. So there, that's two really, in poor man terms, two taxes them are charging.
I essentially
Essentially, really, it's two taxes.
Mhm. tax,
So
tax a tax.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna do it, deal with the concessions that are applied to you, or you can get. Deal with it early. Start processing it early, and I'll tell you the agencies that can help you. RADA can give you a letter.
Mhm.
If you're doing dairy animals, the Jamaica Dairy Development Board can recommend.
Mhm.
Um, Actual VSD can help you. They can give you instructions or even give you a letter. If you are part of any other agricultural associations, they can help you. They can give you a letter of recommendation to get a concession or a discount. So if you're considering it, keep that in mind, because trust me, if you get it, it's a considerable saving, a considerable saving if you get it.
Mhm.
I'm mincing my words, like, yo, ridiculous. You guys can do the numbers. You know what I mean? Do the numbers yourself. You know what I mean? If you buy goods that's worth 10 million or a million Jamaican dollar, and 20% of that, $200,000, is right on top of that already, plus all these other things. So you realize that the costs just keep going. So if you break down the cost of buying the animals, shipping the animals here, and all that stuff, the cost could, like, say you pay $1,000 for a goat. The cost to get the goat to Jamaica could end up being $3,000 in all. You know what I mean? So, and keep in mind, if you're buying quality animals, like really good animals, like, what I mean, sure goat, boar goats, and you're paying $5,000-$6,000 for them, remember that you're gonna pay duty on that 5 or 6 thousand US dollars.
We don't have any show goats.
We don't have no sure goat.
Not that much.
A good segue truly to tell them what the driver or truck driver said about with silence.
Oh, so yes, our truck driver is like, no, sir, me no like, they look like native.
Yeah. And say, yo, listen,
We
those
need
are
to
just
cover
white
them.
native goats. Those are just white native goats.
No, white
So
native goods, and it
as
just
I
like
said,
them.
yeah, as I said a couple weeks ago, don't look over here for those show goats. They are some white native goats
And some Nubians.
and
And
some Nubians.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
But they've always said if your dreams and what you're trying to do, people don't laugh at you, you're not doing anything.
yeah,
So
hmm
I know a lot of people are laughing at us, going, "What are they doing?" So we'll see.
yeah. There's a lot of people that are laughing at us
Yeah.
or making them sly remarks.
Mhm.
But
That's
this is
okay.
a,
I'm
this is
fine.
a long time coming. The best comment I've seen is Andrew Ricketts on Facebook says, "Yo, you can't want pineapple. You can't be in need of pineapple and a plant cassava."
Well said.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And we've been planting cassava trees
For a
and
long
all them things for a while until we're like, yo, enough. I don't think people like the people who really follow us and understand follow or I go chat thing know that this is what we really want to do. This is what we've been in it for. And we're not just talking. You know what I mean? We've been milking native and graded goats for 2 years, 2.5 years now. And once we done the analysis over the 2 year period, we realize, yo, this cannot continue. We ain't making no headway. We've been advised to breed up. When I look into the breeding system to actually execute it, it's 5 years to actually get to where I want to go. I'm like, yo, and shopping for real milk animals and milk goats in Jamaica was just not happening. The people that might have it not selling it to you. And if a man say, yo man, we sell your 2 kids, you have to wait a whole year for it. I'm like, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna happen at the pace that we want to happen. Because we're not talking about having 5 milk animals. We're talking about a whole herd of milk animals so we can milk 20, 25 goats every day. Because we're talking about building out a real dairy operation, goat dairy operation. So, yeah, we make the leap, significant leap. And I don't know if this is true, but I was told that at this point, we're the only one that has real true Sanans, like purebred. I don't know what they call them. I'm not into
Brain full blood. I don't know.
genetics and what the right thing is. Dr. Young may be able to tell us what they call them. They call them purebred Nubians or whatever they call them. I know they're registered Nubians and Sanans.
Yeah.
The Sanans specifically I'm talking about. There are people of all kind of Nubians. The Sanans are registered Sanans with the dairy, American dairy, whatever they called.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're registered purebred Sanans or whatever they are. So they are not like barn seal animals. So we're putting a lot into this, and we're very grateful and showing a lot of gratitude to the people who support us and give us word of encouragement and help us. And we're forever grateful. Just want to know people know say, yo, we're doing this for the sector for real.
Yep.
For real. We're doing it and sharing it for the sector. We want somebody else to say, yo, this is doable. And if they can't afford to, then we have stock that we can over time help somebody else develop a dairy herd. We want to not just have the stock, but we want to be able to share the expertise share how you can do it, how
And
you
then
can
be with
have
animals of good dairy animals.
good dairy animals. You know what I mean? Somebody who can say, yo, I want to have a little dairy operation that I can reap, have a consistent revenue from it, and they can have 10 goats, 10 good dairy goats, and have a decent side hustle going on, you know?
Or five.
Or
Five is
five, yeah. You know what I mean? Because these salmons can give you 3 to 4 quarter milk a day, one of them, you know? So we're serious. We're trying to spread the word. We're trying to get other people involved in this. And that is our objective. And that will be, hopefully, that will be Cabo Ranch legacy, you know? That's what we're looking at.
you have a question
Uh,
in the you have a question on the screen.
Where's the question? After going through this process with the cost and challenges, would you recommend others to do the same? Yes.
This is
Yes.
deep breath.
No, it's like a double-edged sword, right?
Mhm,
You tell somebody to do something, and then when they're doing it, they realize how much goes into it,
mhm.
and they're like, man, this is a pain in the ass. But at this very moment, Trudy and I are telling you it's not easy. However, us doing it and sharing the information, you will have an easier um, time doing it because certain things you will anticipate.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Certain things you'll be prepared for.
Yeah, we were
And
finding out things as we went. It's like
yeah,
we
a lot of things.
it's like, oh, this now, okay, what's this? Where do we find
Yeah,
this? Who you talked about this? Who? Yeah, so we were just finding out things every step of the way. We were finding out something else. We're like, oh my gosh, what next?
yeah. Like we're learning a lot of things as we went along. You know what I mean? The checklist came 2 weeks before or a week before the animals got here on what the things that's required at that we need to provide the quarantine facility, you know. And I had to make a couple calls to find out, okay, how did they, I actually called Damien Crawford. I said, yo, how did you do this? Because I've just found out I gotta do this. And he told me what he did. And I was like, okay, I don't I don't have access to that many drums. He used the blue drums and cut them. But we had to figure out another way, you know. And good thing the hay bags who came in handy. You know what I mean? We had friends who said, yo, I can send you some hay bags, which was very, 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 very helpful. Like I can't stress enough how much that was helpful because the hay bag we had, they're in use, but our friend had hay bags sitting that weren't being used, and him could have pulled two and sterilize them for us and send them. Boom, here you go. And they came in handy. We had to go buy black buckets, cement buckets for water. I had a friend of mine who owns a hardware store had 2 barrel will come down from foreign, 2 of those blue barrels. And I think I still owe for them. I'll call him tomorrow. And he said, yo, you can't come get them from the yard. I had to go down there with the truck and pick them up. I had to cut them. Good thing I have jigsaw here to cut them and wash them out, sterilize them. Yeah. So we didn't do this like have everything well sorted and everything. No, we had to be calling on friends and people we know to help us clear certain hurdles. And because of how we live with people, people know say, yo, we're good people. You know what I mean? Whether you like us or you don't, we're good people. And I'm letting people know what it took for us to do it. You know what I mean? And the people that is saying, oh, the big man, them man, and this and that. Yo, let me tell you, once there's a will, There's a way,
Yeah.
right? And if you're serious, you can get it done. You know what I mean? You can have the vision, you can have the drive, you can, willing to do all the work, and somebody else will stand the cost if they know they're gonna benefit. You know what I mean? You can find, somebody, three or four other people that say, yo, we can put in a change, we can put in a change as long as you do the work. Because me don't know nothing about that stuff or me can have time to do all that stuff. So you may not have a dime in your name to do it, but you can get two or three goats out of it or five goats out of it because you're willing to do the work for five other people that will put up the cash. But you know what I mean? It's not a one, two, three things. Like the man them come work over here all the time. I say, yo, I want two, three that me match it up, man. No, it ain't one, two, three match it up. It ain't that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It is real meticulous work.
Yeah.
And the
But
real
we'll give you guys a roadmap.
yeah,
But bearing in mind, we're going to give you the roadmap based on what we went through and all the hurdles we had to cross. So things might change down the road, but at least you have a starting point. At least you'll have a map, and then if as things change, you can go and that's not something that's going to happen like tomorrow,
yeah,
but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
yeah. And Kimberly wants to know how many goats we have now. Okay,
You-
so when this process started, we were about 135 goats,
Mhm.
and we start selling off and start cooking off.
Cooking off.
Yeah, yeah. Like seriously, we wanted to scale down so we can accommodate these goats, but also a lot of them were just here. A lot of them were just here, and them give us some decent kids or whatever, but they weren't able to go into the milking program. If they go into the milking program, we're getting quart for quart, and it was not good. So then once we made the decision, we just start selling off goats and cooking off
Culling,
goats.
culling,
Cull,
official term, culling.
yeah, officially, they like we went on a serious culling spree. I
And
said,
culling
"What?
is when you get rid of goats. When you
Yeah,
decide that that goat does not meet your requirement, and you decide to get rid of it, whether it's selling it or having
yeah."
it eat.
So now, before the goats arrived, we were at 75, including the kids
Yeah,
that were born
hmm
in December. So it's a significant drop. It's a couple few days last week. The goats were going to pasture, and I'm like, wow, what happened to the long train of goats?
Please stop.
Because what there's like 30, what is it, about 20 goats in the house with kids and stuff, and the rest of them were going to pasture. And I was like, what happened to the long train of goats going to pasture? But we're a leaner machine, but a more productive machine. So
We're
we're
focusing
look
on quality, not quantity.
yeah, we're more focused on quality now over
Hmm.
quantity. So, the numbers gone back up now, but there's still more culling to be done.
Yes.
Because even the old truck guy pick up a goat after him drop off our goat and pick up a goat for butcher. Yeah. So we're definitely gonna even make it more lean
Hmm.
over the next few weeks. Once I, you know, go through these goats and figure out there's a breeding group that's gonna be this month, and then goats are having kids again in March, and yeah, some more calling's gonna happen. What Peter want me send to him farm?
What you culling? I don't know.
Peter, what you want us to send to your farm? We'll send anything you want. Yeah, so folks, that's it.
Absolutely. You know which Kim this is, Ray?
Yes, I just realized.
Yes, they are ready. Come, come, come. Oh, you can't come for the next 14 days, though.
Oh, Peter said they go some no one. Well, you need to come, Pete. You need to make a trip down here and come look at the ones that are there that I'm thinking of calling, and we'll make decisions. You know, there's four of them that needs conditioning, and everybody else seems fine, but I mean, some of them still don't fit
The
the
program
system. Yeah,
system.
we're gonna keep a little graded herd to service our customers who new farmers and people who can't spend the $200,000-300,000 for animals, and we'll produce some amazing graded animals, especially females, and a lot of people can benefit from that. So we're gonna keep that going. Love you too, Kim. When you coming, Kim? When you coming? So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
We'll just keep people posted on how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Full disclosure, the goats are doing fine, except one that looks not as lively and rambunctious like the others. I'm keeping a close eye on her. And it's a Sanan, a big body Sanan. So if there's any further development with her tomorrow, if she still looks the same, then I may have to make a call to a vet and get some expert advice. I'm just hoping it's the stress and change of location that's affecting her. But everybody else seems fine. Everybody is, up and about, relaxing. And one thing I noticed,
It's
once
a lot of water,
they drink so much water, it's like,
which is
it's,
good.
yeah,
I think a
I'm
lot.
like, wow.
Mhm.
They, if you guys see the pictures with those paint buckets, because our big containers are still at the facility. I have to go get them on Monday. But they drank this morning. We were standing there, and I was filling those buckets repeatedly, just not moving. Just the goats were their heads in the bucket, the hoses in the bucket, and they're just drinking. And we were surprised. We're like, whoa, they sure drink a lot of water. And this afternoon, I had to refill those buckets again. So, and I'm sure tonight I have to go refill them before I go to bed, or else I'm gonna find them down at the end of the fence in the morning. Because if the buckets get empty, they start kicking them all over the place.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna call it a night.
Yep. You guys are amazing as always. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes, we appreciate you guys hanging with us, and go tell go tell it on the mountain that Carber Ranch have son and goats in Jamaica. And we intend to develop a real goat dairy system.
Yes.
Go tell the world. So good night, folks. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we will see you guys next week. And keep us in your prayers and your best wishes always from here, from us to you. Enough love and respect. And we'll keep you posted on these new arrivals, these animals. And Sarge and General is doing fine with the goats. General watched them all night like a hawk because he's like, "What are these and why are they here?" So it was funny to watch. It was the funniest thing to watch him just stand there staring at them like, "What are you guys and why are you here?" Yeah. But he seems to be settled in now. He ain't barking at them or staring at them anymore. All right. So see you
Guys.
guys next week.
All right.
All right.
Night,
Night.
guys. Good